Hello everybody, it's Matt again, and today we're going to take a look at another third-party transformer. It's been quite a while since I uploaded. I have been very busy working on some other projects. But we're going to start taking a look at some transformers I've had sitting around. So this one just came out. This is Iron Factory's EX-63G, their Iron Samurai Series Ginran, or their Bluestreak. So obviously from the front, they've got this nice window that they've been doing recently on some of their samurai figures, where they have them in bot mode, just kind of looking through it so you can see them. It's kind of nice, but just some different packaging for their Iron Samurai stuff. I already have the other two of these guys. They're not the greatest things in the world compared to their other stuff, but I figure I might as well finish off the trio. But here he is in his car mode. Nice painted, kind of metallic flecked type of paint. It got the black running all the way up the top. I put the Autobot symbol on there, so ignore that. But he's not too bad. There's the underside. You can see his head and basically the whole robot underneath there. But it's a nice looking little car. The wheels roll. Let's take a look at some of the accessories that he comes with. Sorry, I'm fumbling them around in my hands. He's going to come with this kind of blade thing. It's his samurai weapon, I suppose. Here's the little sheath that it comes with. He's also going to come with his two shoulder cannon parts with this little hinge right here. And he's going to come with a whole host of different hand options. We got some open hands. We have his holding hands for the blade. There are separate holding hands for the gun. And I think that's everything. He also has some fists that are already on his bot mode already. And the weapon itself incorporates into the back of the car. So I'll go over that with transformation. Also wanted to show off that you can actually take his little shoulder gun pieces and you can plug them into the top of the car like this. If you wanted somewhere to store them, if you like that kind of look, you can totally do that. So let's get them transformed. So first thing that we're going to want to do is kind of lift this section up here and then just kind of spread here right at the spoiler off of these two little tabs right here. And then his gun can just pull out. We'll set that aside for now. And then basically what we're going to want to do, what you're going to want to do is take these two tabs off of these back wheels and just kind of pull them off right like that. And then this section here just kind of separate from these door panels like this. So then we can kind of pull this up off of these two tabs right here. And then there's a ball joint and a little hinge here that will allow you to kind of get this out of the way. And we're going to kind of just take these legs on the hip joints down like this, and then there's a dual joint here and then a flap right here for the knees. So you want to bend these all the way out like so, and then just put that flap down. So dual hinge out, put the flap down, just kind of extend the legs. And then the feet here, I'm going to bring them down like so, rotate them around like this. And then you got to kind of have them, got to remember the orientation of these guys. So we're actually going to rotate here at the thigh around like so. And then this ball joint will come in like this. And then this whole section here is on a ball joint as well, attached to the foot. And this is just going to kind of come down like this and just sit kind of against the foot like this and kind of forming the heel a little bit. So same thing here, rotate this around, flip it up like this, and then on that ball joint, just bring it down like so. If I can get it lined up correctly. like that. And that's the legs done. And then up here, we're going to pull the door panels off of this area here. They peg in. Where do they peg in? I think they peg in up here. But you pull them off. They're on a ball joint here. Flip them up. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of that. Pull them up a little bit here. And then you're going to have to kind of rotate them down and out like this at the same time until they can come up on this ball joint. Just completely flip them around. Well, pull them out and around like so. Should look like this. And then we can lift this section up off of here, and it's again on a dual hinge part here where this will just flip out. And then the arms would just come down like this. At that point you can separate them from the center of the car. Just kind of bring the arms down like so. I'm going to rotate here at the elbow and at the hand to get them all oriented the way that they're supposed to be. And then just kind of bring them out on these little hinges, giving us enough room to pull this entire section of the hood down, and this little flap will kind of come up out of the way. But flip this down, and this hinge is going to kind of recess into the torso like so. And then just be mindful of the little ear antenna parts. Bring that down, collapse into the torso. We can move this little flap out of the way and rotate his head around. And then just kind of orient the arms however you want them. And then this, I'm just gonna kind of orient the wings up like so, the little door wings. And then using this dual hinge, we'll just collapse this up onto the back like this, and they will peg into these little slots right here. And then this little butt flap piece will just kind of come up like this. This is kind of how it says to do it. And there's these little tabs that it will come undone from on either side and allow you to use those ball joints to make like little hip pieces. But as you can tell, I'm not the most excited about this guy because this entire thing is nothing but ball joints, so it makes it really finagly to like do anything with. But there he is. That's what he looks like all transformed. But while it does have a lot of articulation, it almost has like too much articulation because it's very, very weird to mess with. I'm sure that if you have their prowl or you have their smoke screen, you know what I'm talking about. There's just a little too much going on. What I actually like to do when I display mine is I actually like to just fully remove this back part and just get rid of it, and then just kind of collapse that ball joint up, and then he just looks a lot, he looks better in my opinion without that back piece, and it just doesn't get in the way as much, and he's a little bit better of a figure. Looks a little bit more like how he did in like the IDW comics, slightly. So that's how I prefer mine, and I might just leave this off for the rest of the video. But this thing, these little skirt parts here do move on these ball joint, and then this piece here on that ball joint there, it just flops around a lot, and it just kind of gets in the way. So I'll just, yeah, whatever. But as far as articulation, in his head he has a ball joint, so you can do what ball joints do with the head. He can look up pretty far, look down a little bit, side to side. He does have quite the chin, so he can't really go too far down on the head, but it's good enough. The wings are on ball joints, so you can move those around, and there's a hinge up in the door, which allows you to pivot those around. The shoulders here, there is a joint up here, which allows you to go up and down a little bit, and then there's the ball joint, which only allows you to get about that far, because there's this little notch right here on the inside of the shoulder, so it kind of gets in the way. The arm rotation, you can only get about that far because of the wings. You can't get back very far, again, because of the wings. So not the greatest shoulders in the world. He has a ball joint here in the elbow, which just gets you about 90 degrees. and you can rotate there as well. Got a ball joint at the wrist, just like all of Iron Factory's other figures, so you can swap out those hands if you want with any of the other ones. He has a very, very slight ab crunch. It's like barely noticeable at all. Don't really know why they bothered. I mean, I think it's a ball joint, so it's like, you know, whatever. So you can go side to side with it too. But of course, you can rotate 360 degrees if you take that off the back part, because it will get in the way if you don't. At the hips, we have ball joints, and of course, you can get, you know, pretty far forwards, all the way back, and all the way out, because it's a ball joint. And then you can rotate down there at the thigh. And it has a double jointed knee, one joint here and another joint there, so you can get pretty good movement out of that. And then the feet are just a complete mess. It has a kind of a joint here in the lower calf, and then it has a ball joint down here, so you can, I mean, good ankle rockers, I suppose. But there's a little joint in the toe, which is another, you know, part that moves around, and then there's another ball joint here in this panel here. So you can move that around quite a bit, but they're just kind of a mess. There's just too much going on down here. It was way worse, definitely, on their Prowl, their first release, because it was very loosey-goosey around all this. But at least on this one, it seems a little bit tighter, a little bit toleranced better. So at least mine seems like it's better than the previous mold mates. But pretty much there he is. And of course, you can take his little shoulder cannons, and if you angle them down like this, we can put them on his shoulder points right here on those little holes, like so. Give him kind of his iconic little shoulder cannons. And you can take the sheath for his little dagger, and they can peg in here on his thigh, like that. And then his little dagger can just go right into said sheath, if I have it right, I think. So it can just go in just like that, or you can put it in his holding hand. His gun here, this will just kind of angle up, the little handle will come down, and then we can put this in his holding hand, like so. Let me swap that out. Again, they're just little ball joints. They're pretty easy to take on and off. And then you can just put that right on like that, and there he is with his little gun. And I'll put his little butt flap on so you can see what he looks like with all of his accessories, even though it's a bit irritating. There he is. So he is with pretty much all his accessories. Alright, so let's do some size comparisons. So there he is with his other two mold mates. There's the original Prowl and Smokescreen, and then these are the only other two Iron Samurai figures that I have, because I don't really care for the Iron Samurai stuff, to be honest. I have their Inferno and their Grapple. And here is some more Iron Factory stuff. Here's one of their original Carbots, one of their Sunstreaker, Optimus Prime. We have one of their Seeker molds and their Megatron. And just some random stuff I have sitting around. Here he is with a New Age Warpath, New Age Constructicon, a New Age Seeker, and a Magic Square Prime mold. And there it is, Iron Factory EX-63G, their Ginran from their Iron Samurai series, or their Bluestreak. This is the last of the three. He unfortunately suffers from the same issues as the first one does, but that's just more the design. His tolerances are definitely better than Prowl's for sure, but they're just still not very fun to mess with. There's just too many ball joints. It's almost like too much articulation, but everything's still limited though. Like it's the ball joint. He's got like 4 or 5 different ball joints in the feet. There's just too much going on with the torso. Just like it's limited, but just not all that fun to mess with. He looks okay though. I don't. I definitely like the way that he looks with his proportions. Very slim, trim. Look, I think it looks pretty nice. But I mean, he's got a good amount of accessories. Like I said, I hate this piece, so I just end up ripping it off. So I think he looks better without it, in my opinion. His gun with that stupid flap from the back of the car, as you can see, I couldn't get him to kind of hold it in the natural pose. I had to turn it sideways just so it could get past his shoulder piece here, because that part just completely limits his elbow articulation. So it just kind of had to set it like that. But the paint on it's nice. I mean, the deco is nice. I like the colors, and I mean it's Bluestreak, so it's just kind of it's kind of how he's supposed to look. But I think they did a pretty good job on the paint on him. Of course, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to all my patrons that I put over there in the beginning of the video. If you would like to check out my Patreon, I have a lot of stuff on there, more related to Armored Core stuff and the models that I make associated with that. But please feel free to check that out if you'd like. But please check out any of my other Transformers reviews. I've got plenty of them over on a playlist on my channel. But like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this guy. I don't know if I can recommend it or not. He's an alright figure. But, I mean, I got the other two, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. If you've seen the other reviews of the other two, there's definitely not the greatest figure that that Iron Factory has put out, but he's definitely better than the other two, I think. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.